Now, peeps, we are making mac and cheese. This is a favorite dish from my childhood. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm from the U.S., but anyway. For my mac and cheese that I make now, I cut my peppers pretty big. I also try to make sure I get all the seeds out, but I'm also not uber concerned. And I know I'm using the wrong kind of knife, but all my knives are dirty from my last cooking video. So we're going with this, I think it's a fish knife, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's super sharp. And sometimes I just bunch my things all together and slice them when I have a really sharp knife like this. But I'm also very careful so I don't, end up like that. Way to go. Okay. So, and again, no perfect size here. And we've got that. Okay, I think audio is off, so for those of you who are trying to listen, sorry there was no sound because Anna's not the best with video. So, but anyway, I'm chopping up, I'm making homemade mac and cheese, and I do this because, well, I like it. It's a vestige of my childhood. It was really comforting, and so with that in mind, I made it a little more adultish by adding in, green bell peppers, which kids normally don't like, and fresh tomatoes. I always cut my tomatoes without the smooth side, because if you cut on the smooth side, you're probably going to end up chopping off part of your finger, at least in my limited notice, and I almost did there. I know I wasn't doing that. Okay. And I like my mac and cheese with chunky veg. So I'm just making this uber simple because I don't think life really has time to be complicated. So there's that. I also have some really nice grape tomatoes that are starting to get a little weazened, and I'm just going to drop those just like that into my pan. I then am adding some purified water. And although this is weird, I always add asafoetida to everything, and I do mean everything that I cook, pretty much, unless I absolutely forget. So it's going in. I'm then grabbing my, I happen to have some egg noodles that I haven't used, and so I'm going to slide them in the pot. And I'm also putting, nobody panic, half of a stick amazing French cheese, which I haven't used, and I really do need to. Look at this, it's just, yeah, it's awesome. So I'm going to do here is I'm taking my uber sharp knife, and soft cheese is really hard for me to deal with, so oftentimes I'll just cut the sides off like that. You can always go back and hold them out with a spoon, and then I'm going to take this big hunk of cheese, making sure there's no wax on it, and I'm just dropping it in my pot. Now most people would not make their mac and cheese this way, but what this is going to do is the water that's in this pan is going to soak up into the noodles. I will actually probably end up putting more liquid in with this mixture than I currently have. And then I've got my cheese. And mac and cheese, you can make this up ahead of time. And this will literally stay good on your fridge depending for up to 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not saying that's maybe the recommended time, but it doesn't really go bad unless you have bad cheese, which I don't. And so, and I don't like making my mac too cheesy. I think that can be a little disturbing. So I will tend to either get like a mac and cheese pack and then make a huge batch with that, or I will just make my own with this kind of cheese. You know what I'm going to do here, since we've got this wax, I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to use a special Asian dessert spoon, which if you don't know about these, you totally should check this out. I found this out because of History 3 Trapped, I think. The one character's sister is always eating ice cream, and she was eating with these spoons, and I found out about them, and I was like, oh, I gotta get me some of those. But anyway, I'm just making sure I don't get any of the wax. And if you do, it won't hurt you, it's just not appetizing. So I'm scraping, because I'm getting about a tablespoon of cheese there. This one I'm doing the same thing. And if you don't like getting your hands messy, this is not the job for you. But there we go. This I was able to get a lot more cheese from because it's deeper. And I don't particularly like buying my cheese like this with the rind. I prefer buying it non-rindy, even though it's not usually artisan that way. But I got a really good deal on this cheese, and so I was like, I'll deal with the rind. Okay, so there's that, and that is a proverbial mess. But there we go. The main thing is make sure you wash your utensils after doing this. You will have something that resembles cheese glue, which is not pleasant. Then I'm going to throw away my bad pieces of tomato. And that's just going to cook for, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes. This is all going to melt down. The peppers are going to soften up. And once they do, I might throw in an onion and let it caramelize with a little more oil, depending. But right now I am taking my homemade caramel macchiato, and I'm going to go watch my recent Taiwanese drama that just aired its new episode today. I'm like, I gotta catch this up. It's an emergency. So this is just gonna kind of ruminate on my stove, think lovely cheesy thoughts. And then when it's done, I'm going to put this into canisters, probably have some hot for lunch that's fresh. And you know, if you wanted to, you could cut these cherry tomatoes into halves. They're going to melt down because the heat is going to make them shrink and lose their juices in the liquid here. So I'm not bothering with that. But yeah, this is going to be enough for probably about 4 to 5 days of meals for one person, and it'll be absolutely awesome. Bye! Alright, so we have finished making our mac and cheese here. I just put on in the pot the onion and some chicken fillet cut up to cook. Then I'm going to mix these together with the mac and cheese. And this will be about, I would say, probably 5 meals. Ta-da! It's going to cook for about 20 minutes.